pull closer in, huh? Good evening. Good evening. This is your senator and servant. Good evening. Good evening. This is your servant and senator, Carla Joseph, welcoming you to another segment of my talk show, On Point, heard every other Tuesday here on WSTA 1340 AM, the People's Station. Well, before I bring on my guest for this evening, who are here and excited, they are part of a very critical career path in our Virgin Islands, and this industry is definitely an industry that we are really committed to shoring up, and they are members of the Marine Vocational Program. I wanted to just take a few minutes, of course, for silence for those individuals who were victims and their families of that deadly shooting in California, back to back. This is really terrible. Definitely we want to hold them up in prayer, their families, the victim, as well as the perpetrator, their family as well, because it's never an easy thing when something as tragic and horrific like this happens in any community. It leaves a really dark and awful stain. So we want to just lift them up in prayer. And thank you, Lord God, for that prayer, and just hope that they find comfort and give them that peace, because it's an issue with the lack of gun control that we have, and we really don't want to have any situations like that, God forbid, in the Virgin Islands. Also, I wanted to take the opportunity to comment a little bit more on the governor's State of the Territory address, which we heard last evening. Of course, the governor is always optimistic. He's always looking for solutions. He counts on the legislature as key partners in finding solutions. And I really want to commend him for his upbeat presentation. He's dealt for the past 4 years with a number of challenges. Some he inherited, and he tried his very best and continues to try his very best to steer us in a path towards progress and presenting opportunities for our people and addressing their concerns. One of the items I really am particularly focused on is the amount of federal funds that we are getting and receiving from particularly the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for Housing Choice Voucher Program, Section 8. I do have some legislation in play that I'm hoping that we will be able to hear in this legislative term, which will even the playing field for our Housing Choice Voucher participants. We have a level of discrimination, income discrimination specifically, that they face, and everybody needs a home, a safe place to call home, to raise their children and to have a family. And it's key because that's, family is important. Family is really the backbone of our community. Family is a backbone of our nation. Family is a backbone specifically of our territory. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have a family. And a family just isn't your blood family. Your family is also part of your church congregation, is part of organizations that you are part of. So your work environment is part of that family too. And so we don't want to have a situation that we're seeing in some of the larger metropolitan areas like San Francisco, where we have a large amount of homelessness. And it tends to happen in areas where there is a high amount of tourism. You see a large amount of homeless situations. I read in a newspaper recently, a mother and her child died in freezing temperatures. Thank God we don't have that, but we don't want that to happen to anyone, that they aren't being able to go home, have walls around them, and to be able to take a shower, have, you know, the usual plumbing and electrical. We would want that in the greatest nation on earth for everyone, and I believe we can have that. It is for us to make it happen. So I really want to delve into that portion, and I also want to look at where we're going with WAPA. Of course, the governor only mentioned one renewable energy source, and that was solar. We have other viable sources, and we want to diversify what our renewable sources are. We already have the LPG, which is propane, natural gas, and we have also already, we have solar, and we also have another viable component of renewable energy that is natural for us, which is wind. So we want to, you really diversify. You don't put all of your eggs into one basket. You have to diversify. So if one doesn't work, the other one will kick in and keep things rolling with a lot of energy and efficiency and consistency. So I'm hoping that that will happen as well. I also wanted to really talk about another item, and this is segueing to my guest. In the 34th legislature, I had the pleasure of having the Marine Vocational Program on my show, and I was really impressed. They invited me to an event. I attended. It was very organized. Now, this program is the brainchild of Jimmy Loveland. And what I really appreciate about the people who are there, they have kept that legacy moving and going forward even after Mr. Loveland passed away. And what I was able to do in the 34th legislature, and this is the first time, the inception, nothing of its kind had happened for this organization, who had been around for over a decade. And they had never received any monies from our government. And the volunteers, they are really hardcore, committed volunteers to our young people. And they were right there struggling in a number of avenues. And I said, you know what? I'm not a member of the Committee on Rules. I'm going to talk to my colleagues, look at the budget, and see if we could get just some starter for you guys. And guess what? I was successful. Just a little bit. You know, our people have an adage that says, one fill a basket. And so that's just a 1-1. And they also are very good at going out to solicit donations. So I was able to get them $7,500. They got their books in order. I mean, it was a long way for them to get their books and their structure back, because Jimmy Loveland was great. He was great, but then he didn't. He passed away, and they needed to restructure and get everything in order. And that's something I love to talk about when I'm on the floor, succession planning. And so they had already a structure in place so that they could, because he's not there to pitch hit and throw anymore, they were able to step in and keep that legacy rolling out. So I really want to commend them. And so this evening, my guest in the studio is none other than their fearless leader, Mr. Winston Butch Klein. He's the president of the Marine Vocational Program. Also, good evening, Mr. Klein.
Let me say good evening to the audience out there.
Okay, and also in joining with me this evening are some of the young people who are participants in the Marine Vocational Program. I have with me Mr. Aaron Joseph. Say good evening, Mr. Joseph, to our listening audience.
Good evening.
And also we have in the back, behind of me, only the people in Facebook can see because we're carrying this live on Facebook. We have Miss Shayla Hale.
Mm-hmm.
Say good evening, Miss Hale.
Good evening.
I don't know if they could hear you. And then we also have Sophia Joseph.
Oh, good evening.
And Brian
Brian.
Bacham. Brian Bacham.
Good evening.
Good evening. They have such good manners. I really want to, and I'm sure that's something that they're learning and being reinforced rather, because I know they come with it from their homes, but they are getting that good reinforcement in the Marine Vocational Program about manners and saying good evening. So that's wonderful. So let's have a discussion now. Like I mentioned, I met Mr. Klein. I never know any of these young people, our young people here. I never met any of them. You heard two of them have my last name. I didn't even know they were part of this program, to tell you the truth. Mr. Klein, I was finished with a meeting at the Taxi Cab Commission, and it was dark and late. He said, Senator Joseph, I need to speak to you. And from then, it has been, we can't get separated. He can't get rid of me, and I can't get rid of him. So we have been working to really address a lot of the issues that they have. So tell us, Mr. Klein, about the Marine Vocational Program, where you're at, what you plan to use and do with the $7,500. It's a small amount with this program and the like.
Okay, well, right now the Marine Vocational Program is a program that we teaches kids from 10 to 18, just about everything in the marine industry. So they learn to swim, snorkel, they even learn to scuba dive. We teach them to sail just about every type of vessel that we could get our hands on. Now, this is a program that is provided free to the kids.
What? Stop. Did you say the word free?
Yes, everything is free. The only thing the kids have to walk with is their swimsuit.
Wow.
Towel.
And people are saying, Mr. Klein, there is nothing here for our young people to do. Okay?
And that's one problem we also have. Recruitment. It is free, but we usually have a problem getting a lot of children into the program.
And you don't have anyone on your staff who is paid, or everybody's volunteer?
Everyone is volunteer.
Okay.
We all do volunteer.
So how can a parent who is hearing this get in contact with you? But before I ask you that, tell me, where do you function and the like?
Well, right now we are functioning out of the Edith Williams School. We meet there every Saturday from 9:30 to 4:30. And so we did have a place that we functioned before, but due to the death of Jimmy Loveland, we had some problems with that. The principal of Edith Williams and the assistant principal, they stepped in and said, okay, we're going to provide you guys with a classroom, and you can, since we are also an alternative program, you guys can help some of our students. So that we do. But before that, we also had Mr. Rogers that also helped with us getting a place so that we could keep functioning.
Okay, and I know my office has also worked with the University of the Virgin Islands to get you some placement, which will be closer to the water. So that is still in play. We just have to make sure that we are following up and keeping the pressure on. So let's go back and talk a little bit about how you operate. You operate how many days a week? Is it just Monday, or is it just Friday?
Every Saturday.
Every
Saturday from 9:30 to 4:30.
9:30 to 4:30. And they learn to swim.
They learn to swim. They learn to snorkel. They learn to dive. They learn all the different knots, and also there's a
But
thing.
stop. When you say knots, what are you talking about with knots?
Okay, knots. There's a different type of tying knots that you would have to utilize when you're on a boat.
Okay.
The thing of it is you want to be able to tie a knot that you can lose, but it can hold the strength, but it can loosen very easily.
Okay.
So they learn all those different types
Okay.
of doing those tying of those knots.
Oh, perfect. Okay, and what else do they learn?
Besides that, it's a thing that is big in the industry. You may see a rope that has a loop. That line has a loop, but somehow it is intertwined in together, making it look as one whole thing. It's called splicing. Those kids learn to do a lot of those splicings. So just about, like I say, everything in the marine industry, they learn. The hospitality part, even the catering, because they learn to cater just like pretend like you're working on a charter yacht.
Okay, so that means that they could be part of a charter yacht service team and a crew. So they could start off. So if they finish school and the like, and they want to go on to that career path, they already are getting the needed skills instilled in them to go into that career path, which is a viable career path, and they could earn good money in the charter yacht industry. I know that is something that is budding right now, that we are building our charter yacht program. Now, before you go on, tell the listening audience how they can get their youngster who is between the ages of 10 to 18 enrolled in the Marine Vocational Program.
Okay. Well, we have our contact information that I would let one of the youngsters read out to you, that you can contact us. Plus, once you meet any of the members.
Okay, so Mr. Aaron Joseph, you want to read out how persons can get in contact with the Marine Vocational Program?
So you can contact us at 340-725-9555, and our email is mvp2vi@gmail.com.
Repeat the number again, how they can reach you.
340-725-9555.
9555. Now, Mr. Joseph, Mr. Beecham, and Miss Joseph, as well as Miss Hale, tell us about your experience. Let's start off with you, Mr. Beecham. When did you join the Marine Vocational Program? Because you got to testify and tell everyone what a wonderful program this is, or if it's not as wonderful, and Mr. Klein and everybody else think it's wonderful, but it's not. It's really boring. So come on closer to the mic so you can talk into the mic and tell the listening audience. In fact, I'm going to take this out a bit. Okay, and talk into the mic and tell everyone what has been your experience at the Marine Vocational Program.
My experience at the Marine Vocational Program is we go out on the sea and sail. Sometime when Jimmy Logan used to be alive, we used to sail Happy Island in the back lagoon, snorkel at Happy Island. Then when we come back from Happy Island, we used to go in the pool and learn how to dive and tie knots, splice.
Okay, so is this something that you enjoy doing, or is it boring?
I enjoy it.
You really do? You enjoy it? Do
Yeah.
you see anything that you're learning at the Marine Vocational Program that helps you with your academic work in school?
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Okay, let's get Miss Joseph in the back to also comment. Miss Joseph, you're a girl. So, most people think that these type of activities are for boys only. Doing marine activities and the like is for boys only. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, everyone can do it, even girls. It's fun for girls. Girls, other girls can learn how to sail, tie knots, learn how to row a boat, how to fish.
Do you do any kayaking?
Yes, I do. I kayak a lot.
Oh, really? I love kayaking. I could just say I love kayaking, but I've never done it. I love watching it. I'm going to do it. Could you teach me?
Sure.
Oh, so you're never too old to learn, and you can be a great teacher. And so what is in the Marine Vocational Program that they offer that made you want to be a participant?
Well, I was kind of afraid of the water for a long time, but then I joined, learned that it's nothing to be afraid of. You could go far on a paddleboard, a kayak, or a sailboat, or a rowboat, and still have fun and come back in and still have fun with your friends.
So you were able to overcome a fear of water? That's what you're saying, Miss Joseph? You are an overcomer? Absolutely fantastic. I know when we growing up here in the Virgin Islands, you know, it wasn't something that was really promoted. At least my parent didn't promote it. She used to say, stay in the shallow end, you're gonna drown and everything. So some of us were fearful, but I had a big brother and he insisted and said it wasn't anything that you should be afraid of. You could do it. And that's how I learned to swim. But I learned to swim in a pool, like some of you may have learned too. I learned to swim in a pool, and then I went in the ocean, and can't stop me from swimming really far out. So you really overcame your fear of it. How about you, Miss Hale? Miss Hale is getting closer, so everybody who is on Facebook could see her.
By the way, Miss Hale is one of our top students.
Oh, she is.
She's one of the more advanced.
Okay. All right, Miss Advanced Top Student. We saved the anchor for last. That's when you're running a relay, you save the best for last. So Miss Hale, tell us, how long have you been a member of the Marine Vocational Program? I do remember you from being here previously. So tell us.
Well, this year is going to be 9 years I've been in this program.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, what grade are you in?
I'm currently in 11th grade, going to 12th grade.
Oh my gosh. So this has been a program that you have come to consistently because you enjoy it, obviously. Okay, so tell us what you have learned while you were in the Marine Vocational Program.
I've learned a lot, and one of the best things that I've learned is that it's okay to fail, because at the end of the day, there's always room for you to improve and always get better.
Okay, we have a caller on the phone. Just hold on a moment. Carla? Hi, good evening and welcome to On Point.
Hi, good evening. My name is Abina Mead.
Hi, Miss Mead. How are you?
I'm fine. My son is a member of the Marine Vocational Program,
Yes.
and he thoroughly loves it. This Saturday, they had so much fun with St. Thomas Rescue, along with the fire service as well. He was able to learn about using an axe and one of those jars of life tools. So they went out to the pool and they were learning how to swim.
Oh, beautiful. So we could have some future EMTs, EMRs in our midst, and it's all about the exposure to these opportunities and for them to have a opportunity again to interface with professionals in those fields to see if they are interested in those career paths.
Right.
I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much, Miss Mead, for calling in. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I would like everybody to come out to all the different endeavors that the Marine programs may have in the future. I think it's a very positive program. And that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Miss Mead, for calling in. Have a wonderful evening. Okay. So now, Ms. Hale, you wanted to conclude in anything you had to say, or you're good?
Well, the one thing I have left to say is this is a really fantastic program, and everyone in the program tries to make you feel comfortable as possible, make you feel like you're part of the family, make you feel centered, make you feel whole.
Then
You know what I mean?
mentioned that word family, and it's just not blood. You get family all over, and that's critical. So I really thank you for that, Mr. Joseph, Aaron Joseph. So how old were you when you joined the Marine Vocational Program?
I believe I was 13.
13. And how old are you? So you've been in it for how many years now?
Like 2 years.
2 years? Wow. Okay. So are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Very good. All right. So it's really exciting. My time is almost up. And so I want you to tell us Ms. Hale, one important thing that you have learned about the Marine Vocational Program while you're there. Just one thing before we close out.
One thing would be
Well, what would be one thing you have learned?
one thing I have learned in a whole is that there are a lot of career choices, and with this program, it provides you the access to, have that, to have that reaching arm as to what you want to do. Like
Okay.
if you feel like you're interested in a certain topic, but you really can't get that at school because of how things, budget cuts, and teachers leaving and all of that.
Oh, my.
So like they give you that extra push and give you that reaching hand to see, okay, I want to do this or I want to do this, and they give you the experience.
They give you
different things that you need to-
the real experience,
Yeah.
so you could learn some of the relevance of what you're learning in school, and you see how to apply it in real life. Okay, very good. We have come to the end of our show, and I just want to thank the members of the Marine Vocational Program. If you are a parent, a guardian, or someone who is taking care of young people, some young people who may need some guidance, one, and two, they have a little bit of too much time on their hands, I would suggest that you get in contact with the Marine Vocational Program. They can be reached at 340-725-9555. Again, Mr. Klein and young people, I really thank you for joining us for another segment of On Point. On Point can be heard. Mr. Klein, you wanted to add one thing?
Yes, plus we are also out there looking for volunteers. As long as you're willing to work with the youths and come in and throw a hand in with the Marine Vocational Program, we're glad to have you. We also do first aid training and many other things that we do with the kids. So you have a specialty that you would like to introduce to the kids, the Marine Vocational does not turn you away.
Okay, thank you so much. We're a little bit over our time. Again, this is your servant and Senator Carla Joseph, thanking you for joining me for another segment of On Point. On Point can be heard every other Tuesday here on the People's Station, WSTA, from 6 to 6:30 p.m. So join me again, Virgin Islands, for another On Point segment, not next week Tuesday, the following Tuesday. Thank you so much and have a great evening.